Hi, so this is just a short session, you can say, to give you some ideas about what kind of karma yoga you can do from your home. Lots of people are a little unsure about what they can be doing because when they think of karma yoga, they think of what they might be doing in the ashram, but actually there's so many things that we can do for our community and for the environment from where we live. So that's what this is all about. So looking at why, now you've already had the lectures on karma yoga. You should understand karma yoga by this point. We all know that regular selfless service is an important part of a karma yoga practice and for our own yoga sadhana or our yoga practice as a whole. So it's really important that we do include karma yoga in our life. Next point, there are so many things we can do to help others. There's so many things. You just need to think about it for a little while and you'll get so many ideas coming to you. So I'll just be giving you a few examples. And the next point, it's important to keep balance in our life and not build our ego and become self-obsessed. Of course, our self-practice and self-care are important, but karma yoga is also an essential part of a well-balanced yogic lifestyle. So we need to make sure that we are having that balance, and it's not only about ourselves but also about how we can make society better. So here you see this quote, the first step in making society better is by caring about things that don't affect you directly. And I think this is really important to remember. Like a lot of people have their ideas on society, and a lot of people can complain about, oh, it's like this and it's like that. But then we also have to have our input and we also have to be helping. And only then can society improve. So let's look at a few ideas that we might be able to utilize. Looking at nature. So what kind of things can we do in nature? Now, obviously, there's lots of things we can be doing for ourselves to help out, which is not necessarily karma yoga. So ways of making sure that we are minimizing our carbon footprint, of course, all that kind of stuff for nature is important, but specifically things as a karma yoga that we can do, things like cleaning up our country. So whether it's we're living in the city or if we're living in the countryside, but just cleaning up our environment. And I think it's really important that we think about this because a lot of people only think about the house that they're living in and they don't think about anything else around. And it's important that we do start to be much more environmentally aware and also having an understanding of the rubbish that we're producing and where is that going and everything. So start thinking about how you could be cleaning up. So it might be just a simple thing of picking up some rubbish as you're walking down the street that you see lying around, or it might be that you actually really get into it. You might be part of a group that is cleaning up, say, the rivers or cleaning up in the forest or the beach or somewhere like that, which is a much bigger project, because it doesn't matter which country you're in, there are always places that need to be cleaned up, unfortunately. So you could do that. Then planting or propagating trees. So for example, if you don't know where you could be planting trees or helping out in that way, you might be able to support by growing some little seedlings, which you can then give to those in need or who can plant them. Or you might be close to some nature where you can actually put them in. Of course, you need to check what's allowed as well. Or you might become part of an organization that is specifically helping with, say, bush regeneration or starting to grow different types of forests. Even just the fact of starting to grow more different types of trees in your backyard can have a big impact too. It might be that you start planting trees out on the curbside. So on the side of the road next to your house, you might start to put some plants in there. These days it's become very common to start putting those kind of trees out there. It might be that you're building the awareness for nature, understanding of nature and protection of nature, of sustainability. So to start reducing our carbon footprint, starting to work with nature and living with nature in a much better manner, instead of just taking, also giving back, and definitely to be able to connect with nature once more. So building awareness is also a lovely karma yoga to do. And then working with different charities that may be helping with conserving nature or also caring for wildlife. It might be that you even start to take in wildlife that you care for if you've been trained for that, or you might be doing other kinds of karma yoga that helps the animals too. So there's lots of different things that we can be doing in nature. If we look at gardening, so it might be that you know a little bit about gardening and you want to start a community garden, or there might be a community garden near you and you want to just participate and help out. So that's a really good thing to be doing as well. And especially if you can share any knowledge that you have to help others so that they can also start gardening, they can also start growing their own vegetables and fruits from their home in their garden, or if they have an allotment or in the community garden, it's all very good. You might start a street garden as well, like I was saying about planting trees along the street. A lot of people now are having gardens along the street, and instead of just having lawn, it's become very popular to start having different types of plants, and some of them edible, of course, depending on where one's living. Then propagating of seeds and plants to share. This is also becoming very, very popular and a really nice thing to do, to grow different types of plants and gift them to others. And as I've already mentioned, so sharing knowledge of plants and also of gardening, or whatever skills that you may be having that can benefit others. Then looking at the community, so what can we do for the community? So looking at cooking, if you can cook, then definitely you can help in many ways. It might be that you help for the homeless. You might work in one of those kitchens where you make food for them, or you might donate certain types of food that you cook at home to them. It might be that you're just cooking for some people that you know need help. It might be that someone that you know that has recently injured themselves and is finding it difficult to do cooking. If they've broken an arm or something like that, then it can be quite hard. So it might be that you're cooking for someone like that. It might be that you're cooking for, say, a new mother, to just had a baby. It can be very hard to think about cooking meals as well as caring for a child. It might just be that you share some food that you have just to show your care or your love, for others. It may be just to help someone. It may be for charity, like it might be food that you're going to sell or someone is going to sell to raise funds for that charity. It might be as a donation. It might be for things like schools, like children, if you have any children at school and they need to sell some cupcakes or slice or something like that, you might donate your food for that purpose. So there's lots of ways that we can cook if we have those skills to be able to share and help others. Then looking at checking in on others. So this is especially important during this unstable time. So just a simple act of making a phone call to somebody, maybe a neighbor or someone that you don't communicate with a lot, just to make sure that they're feeling okay. Dropping in on somebody to check in, sending a message even, if you don't have time for a phone call, just a message to let people know that you're there if they want to talk to you, or if you're making a phone call, just to listen to anything they have to say, to give support, because mental health is a big issue this year, and just to feel connected to someone else is really important. If someone is going through a really tough time and they just get a message from you, or you just call just to check up on them, it's something that can really make their day and help them get out of, doom and gloom. Then helping others. So whatever the need might be, so whatever someone is needing, it might be that they need help with finding a job. It might be that they're having problems with their study. It might be that you have some knowledge that will be really helpful for them in learning or understanding something. It might be that they just need some help with transport, getting to and from somewhere. It might be that there's something that you have that they need to borrow. Just different ways. There's so many ways that we can be helping people around us. And that moves to the next point, sharing a skill. So, of course, all of you are learning yoga or are already yoga teachers. So yoga is definitely some knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge you already have in which you can share and help others, whether it's just sharing a yoga nidra or sharing a few techniques to help with their back pain. There's always something that you can do that can be helpful. But it might not be it might not be yoga. It might be another skill that you have already which can help somebody else. Like I was saying before, having the skill of gardening, it might be your skill of writing. So you might proofread someone's document that they have. It might be that you have skills of teaching them how to cook some kind of vegetarian food. There's so many different skills that are there that can benefit others. And speaking of skills, here's one, learning first aid. So that's a really, really good skill to learn, which is going to help the community. There's lots of different courses for first aid in different countries, so you could definitely do that, which would be a great help. And then we've got things like the bushfire brigade. So, for example, in Australia, the bushfire brigade is all volunteers, basically all volunteers except right up the top, and that is a massive karma yoga that all those people are doing to help protect the countryside and houses and people. So it might be that you join something like that, which will definitely have really, really deep effects on the community. Then looking at things like helping with the homeless or others in need, maybe people who are having some kind of disabilities or they just need a little bit more help. It might be that you're really good at sewing or knitting or doing something like that. So you can put those skills to use. It might be that you're good at making face masks. Okay, so you might end up doing a lot of sewing of face masks to give as donations or for a charity or for somewhere else. It might be that, say, you can knit. Now in Australia there's a lot of people knit like these knitted bears to give to children, especially children with cancer. A lot of people also knit the beanies, the hats, so for any person, whether it's an adult or a child who's going through chemotherapy and they lose their hair, so having that hat can just obviously keep them a little bit warmer, and it just shows that care and love for others. But there's lots of different things that we can be making from craft. And then bringing connection and community. So bringing communities together by arranging different kinds of social events or even social media groups. So, during the times of COVID where, not in every country can people come together as a group. So it might be that they stay connected in other groups. I know this year a lot of groups have come up in Australia to support different communities and neighbourhoods, just to make sure that they're okay if they need anything, that kind of thing. You might have some kind of specialized group, like you might have a group for new mothers, or a group for local parents, or a group for people that need particular help, say whether example like parents with children with autism, or maybe a group of people who are having celiac disease. So there's lots of different groups that we can put together to help people connect and make them feel supported. So that's also a really nice thing to do. It might be putting together some social events. So it might be the people that come together in the social media group eventually are able to meet, which is a really nice thing. It might be that you put, say, plays together for children, like to be able to play in the park together, which can build connections between children and also between parents. There's lots of things that can be done to weave connections between community, and this is really important because a lot of people feel really alone. So when they feel connected to the community, it definitely helps them a lot with their mental health. The next point, engaging with the local charity and helping in whatever way you can. You know, there's always different things that can be done in charity. Of course, if you have additional money that you can share, it's always helpful for a charity, but there's always other things that can be done as well. The last point here I have is offering something for free, whether it's things you don't longer need. So it might be that you do a deep clean of your house and you realize there's lots of things you're not using anymore, so you can donate them to somebody else. It might be your skills, like I was saying earlier, to offer them. It might be your knowledge. It might just be your time and your presence, which is going to be helpful. So there's so many things that can be done in the community. These are just examples to start you thinking a little bit more. So this is where we finish here. Don't forget the small things all add up. Sometimes the smallest thing can make a big difference in someone's life. Okay, so don't think it always has to be a really big event. It can be something small, but if you're doing small things and you're doing them regularly, then it can be really helpful. So the last thing to say here is give to those in need, share love and spread light. Hari Om.